Hey, it's your Scale Up Biz Coach Laurie McNaughton coming to you again with another Monday Momentum. We do this live every Monday between 11 and 11:30 Mountain Standard Time. And really all it's meant to do is to give you a kickstart to start your week on a positive note, because we know if we start off positive, we're more likely to finish positive. So today's episode is about growth, or pardon me, gratitude as a growth strategy. And this is really about unlocking the potential growth inside your company, tapping into a higher level of creativity, and building stronger relationships for you, your team, your customers, your suppliers, and the community as a whole. Now, I put this picture in here because I think it's an illustration of a graphic illustration. Like when you look at life, do you look at life more from the perspective of this side, or do you look at life from this side? Over here, high level of gratitude and beauty and love and creativity. Over here, darkness, frustration, anger, resentment, all kinds of different emotions. We obviously want to stay over here. And how do we do that? In part is we are grateful. We talk about great gratitude as a strategy for success. So what if gratitude could help you grow your business? That's the question I want to start with today. And gratitude turns what we have. This is a quote that I came across the other day. Gratitude turns what we have into enough, and what we want. Sorry, let me repeat that. Gratitude turns what we have into enough, and what we have into more. This is the idea of, the more that you put out there, the more comes back to you. This is the old tithing story from I don't know where it actually came from. I think it might have come from the Bible, but I'm not sure. But if you give, stuff comes back to you. If you take, things go away from you. So we want to be grateful for what we have and experience in our lives. So gratitude means a better business for you. It matters in business because here's the thing. You want to be frustrated, angry, filled with resentment all the time, or you want to be peaceful, happy, and joyful. Oh, and by the way, rich. So here's the deal. Gratitude boosts creativity and problem solving. How does it do that? I'm going to talk a little bit about this cortisol and oxytocin thing. Cortisol and adrenaline and noradrenaline, different kinds of chemicals in our hormones that create the fight, flight, or fight, freeze, which is our survival mechanism. And when we're in survival, our focus goes down to here instead of opening up to here. Well, this is where we find solutions to our challenges. Here's all we see is the problem. And so oxytocin is what they call the bonding hormone or bonding chemical that's in our bodies. And if you can imagine when you picked up your baby, maybe for the first time, or you have a pet that you love, or something else that creates this feeling of love for you, whether that's, a parent, a brother, a sister, a cousin, whatever it is, that you would create, pardon me, your body releases oxytocin, and this builds trust and connection, and it opens up our brain so that we're able to collaborate better, not just with other people, but also with ourselves, because it puts us in a frame of mind where we can access the best part of who we are. Here's the deal. When you're in fight, flight, or freeze or survival, you're never going to access what you need in order to make the changes that you want to have in order to have a thriving, happy, successful, profitable business. So a little bit of science here. If you look at this picture here, it would be a representation of each one of those sort of modules, if I could call it that, would be like neurons in your brain. And those branches that reach out are what synapses. Those are the things that connect together the neurons and start to create, beliefs. Starts to create who you are as a person, languages, movement, relationships. It's all based on these neurons connecting together through synapses. So, and the story is, or the quote is, neurons that fire together wire together. So the more you fire something, the more it wires together. And now it becomes either a habit or a memory or a belief. Now, as it says here, we have something called neuroplasticity. And I first heard that term, gosh, more than 15 years ago when I was at a conference in Florida. And one of the speakers talked about, she was a neuroscientist, and she talked about neuroplasticity. And she said, this old adage, you can't teach an old dog new tricks is wrong. You can teach a old dog new tricks any time in their life. And that's, I'm speaking more about us being the old dogs. The point being is that um, if you are learning, you can teach yourself something new. And again, so going over, if you fire these neurons together, they become part of your learning process. So, one of the things that I do is every day in my journal, I have two journals. One's basically my daily journal that I just write down things that I'm grateful for, people that I love, people who love me. And then I also write down here, do what is right and do what is important. And so then I write down here, I've got 4 things I need to accomplish today. So I know I'm really clear on what I need to do. And then I write in this journal basically experiences and ideas and concepts that have come to me through my studies. And then I read them over and over and over again because I know that neurons that fire together wire together and they become a part of who I am. So this, I want to, and when I do this, it activates dopamine and serotonin, which are the feel good chemicals in our body. And they create that feeling of gratitude. I'm sure at some point, if you can't manufacture the feeling of gratitude, you know what it felt like at some point in your life. So that's what we want to feel that level of gratitude, because it's one thing to think things, it's another to feel things. And when we feel things is more about what we do and what we don't do. So, grateful leaders inspire more engaged, productive teams. And it's in part because, again, we've got our team in this release of oxytocin. So we're bonding together. The survival is uh, uh, volume is turned down dramatically so that we can be trust and feel safe in that when we talk and go through things, that it's going to be a constructive conversation versus if I could call that a destructive conversation. And so when you start looking through life of the lens of gratitude, this big roadblock of a rock actually turns into a stepping stone for something greater. So recognizing small wins fuels motivation with your team. So that's being grateful for what they have brought to your company. Now, also, you got to do this for yourself as well. Feeling grateful for what you've done, the energy, the passion that you put into this, and just saying, I am really grateful that I took this road, the road less traveled for all intents and purposes. And, and expressing appreciation builds loyalty with your team, and it shifts the focus away from problems to what's possible inside your company. And that's what we want to do is we want to create a high level of possibility with our teams, with our companies, and what we can accomplish. So let me just make sure I didn't go. Yeah, no, there we go. So gratitude as a growth strategy again improves customer loyalty. Clients who feel valued stay longer. I just had an experience like that with a telecommunications company here in our city. I was with a company for 25 years. I didn't feel appreciated by them. This other company called me one day, and so I ended up switching over to them. Now the company that I was doing business with before, all of a sudden they appreciate me and they want me back, and they make all kinds of offers, to which I just basically blew them off because, listen, if you're not going to be grateful right out of the gate, you're not going to be grateful down the road for me as a customer. And to them, I was just a number, so I switched. So what did I say? Improves customer loyalty. Yep. Enhances collaboration. Teams that feel seen perform better. This is really a very important thing when you're working with your team is you've got to, when it says seen, it means to really hear what it is they're saying. So if you're always doing all the talking and never getting input, then they're not going to feel seen. They're not going to feel like they're part of the team. So you want to collaborate with them, get their ideas. And I can tell you this, if you need to be the smartest person in the room, then you are a bottleneck in your company. You need to pull out the best of everybody and think about this from the perspective. There's people out in your team who, boots on the ground, so to speak, they know things that you don't necessarily know. It doesn't mean that you're going to make a wholesale change. It just means like, hey, listen, let's explore that idea. And the way you do that is by creating that collaborative feeling, and that you do that by making sure that people feel appreciated and that you're grateful for their participation in helping you build a successful company. And it says here, I already talked about that, sparks innovation, and gratitude broadens the thinking. That's the key, is we want to broaden that thinking. So practical applications are, daily gratitude huddles or team check-ins. This is just as simple. If you have, let's say you've got 20 employees and you got 4 teams of people, you just have the team leader, and that team leader can change every day of the week so that everybody gets an experience. And then you can actually watch the leaders step up. You'll watch everybody grow, but you'll also watch the leaders step up. And a daily huddle would be simply, hey, how's it going today? Awesome. How did you make out on yesterday? On the work that you had yesterday? Yeah, we got everything done we needed to do. Perfect. Really appreciate your time and efforts here. What do you got on the plate today? Well, we're going to get to this point in the project, and we should be right up to speed. Perfect. Anything that get in the way of you doing that? No, no, we've got everything figured out. Awesome. Really appreciate your efforts. You've now gone a long way to, first of all, understanding where you're on, and if you're on time in the project, understanding where you're at and where you're going to be at the end of the day. Just a beautiful time to be able to experience and understand, your team, and understanding how you get the best out of them. So here's another thing you can do, is send thank you notes. Actually, send thank you notes to clients as well as your staff. And just do that every once in a while randomly. Uh, I I remember 20, no, 30 years ago, I worked for a company. My boss was in Red Deer. I live in Edmonton. And from time to time, he'd just send me a note saying, thank you for your time and your effort. I really appreciate what you've done here. You've grown our business in Edmonton, and we're really excited about that. That built another level of loyalty for me to my boss. Celebrate milestones, big and small. Don't wait for big things to happen. Celebrate little things, because again, that pushes that gratitude button. And then, as I talked about, journaling. This is just something that I do. It's not something that just I do. A lot of people do journaling. I highly recommend that everybody does that. Take a few minutes at the beginning of the day and the end of the day to journal some things, your thoughts and your feelings, and get clear on what's most important for you. So here's another thing here. So this is for those people that were live on the call. You can stop the video and just do this yourself. But who do you need to thank this week? Write down 2 or 3 people you need to thank, and then write down one action that you need to take today. You can pause the video and do that before you move on, or you can just move on. So, oops. So, closing. Gratitude isn't just good manners, it's good business. Start this week with gratitude and watch how it multiplies. Just try this for 30 days and watch what happens. First of all, watch what happens with your team, but watch how you feel about it. Pay attention to your feelings, because I'm going to step out on the limb here and say that it's going to dramatically change. Pardon me. Dramatically change your business. With that, this is the closing of the recording for Monday Momentum. I wish you a happy, successful week where you get everything you need to get done, and you have fun doing it. Take care. And until we get a chance to meet, have yourself a great day.